breathing.
And tonight, after 29 years in the wrestling business, I've seen and done it all. But what I've never seen is a self-righteous son of a bitch skateboard down a rampway and attack me from behind. Attack Le Champion from behind after a hard match, after fighting Dustin Rhodes and Cody Rhodes and Hangman Page and Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson and MJF and Dr. J and Benedict Arnold and Abraham Lincoln and David Lee Roth and whoever the hell else was out there. Darby Allin. He couldn't just leave well enough alone. He beat Jimmy Havoc. He gets a chance to face Le Champion in Philadelphia for the AEW Heavyweight Championship. It's the biggest match of his career. But he had to take it too far. He had to come and attack me from behind like some kind of a dog, like some kind of a street thug. I'm an educated man, Darby. I've got morals. I've got je ne sais quoi. But I grew up on the streets. I grew up on the mean streets of Winnipeg. You want to fight? You want to attack? You want to treat me like some kind of a street thug? Sounds good to me. Because next week, we're in Philadelphia. That's the place where my father, Ted Irvin, used to beat the crap out of the Philadelphia Flyers each and every night when he played with the New York Rangers. So you want to come to Philly? You want to treat me like a street thug? Well, I'm going to treat you like the little bitch that you are, Darby Allin, because next week, for the AEW Championship, Darby Allin versus Chris Jericho in a Philadelphia street fight. One last thing. You want to try and cause some pain? I don't cause pain. I make the pain. Next week, Chris Jericho's not going to be in Philadelphia, but the pain maker will be. I'll see you then, Darby. It's going to be the match of your career. It's also going to be the last one. You're welcome.
Say what? A whole lot of superstars on this stage here tonight. But I want y'all to know one thing. This is my house. And when I say who's
word attack skills and vocabulary too. Cover hits in the distant edition is all brand new. You're through. I'm interplanetary like Doctor Who. So who?
Fuck your beef, no relief. I step on stage, girls scream like I'm Keith.
What's up, everybody? Ringtime Pro Wrestling is in the building again. Keith and Keshia together. This is episode 2 for this week. Keshia, say hi to the people.
Hey, what's going on, people? Hey, you know I had to be on here for at least one of them.
So this is a new format we will explore.
I pretend. No. Okay. I'm just playing. I gotta calm down. I had too much sugar today, y'all. My bad.
So this is a new format we will explore. We will try to do 2 shows a week. We'll try to keep up with all the wrestling content that's going on. So the first show will probably drop, I would say Wednesday, but it will not contain any Wednesday Night Wars talk. Wednesday Night Wars talk will be reserved for today's, on Saturdays. We will make adjustments as needed and just basically try to get with everything that's happened. So, as you know, Monday night, Raw. Tuesday night, NWA Power. And then in about 2 weeks, Impact Wrestling will have a show on Tuesday night also.
Right.
If you have not watched the NWA Power, I suggest streaming it on YouTube. It was on Facebook Live also. Very classic feel. People who grew up with Mid-Atlantic Wrestling and Georgia Championship Wrestling, you will definitely appreciate the decor, as they say. I'm excited to see what happens when Billy Corgan comes down again to do some more taping. He's got to continue to do it here at the GPB studio. Like, I can't see him setting that tone and do it unless he's gonna go different places and recreate the 80s studio. Even though you can't necessarily recreate the Sportatorium, but like if you want to keep going to different places and recreate like the old AWA thing, recreate the old, because I mean studio wrestling was a very specific kind of thing. Wednesday nights, of course, you have AEW Dynamite and NXT. Thursday night is kind of open for right now, but please believe I think somebody's going to want to take that slot. Friday night is SmackDown. Saturday night, WoW and New Japan. I will have to start tuning up for those. New Japan is going to be kind of different because Access airs stuff that happened like 2 weeks ago. So,
Right.
either way, it'll all get figured out. Ring of Honor does not necessarily have a steady television night because Sinclair Broadcasting basically just syndicates the show. MLW, I don't think has changed up their TV thing yet. It's just a lot, man. This is the healthiest time to be in the wrestling business.
It is.
Master P bought House of Glory. Who knew? And P said he gonna be serious about the wrestling. We shall see, right? Like a lot of people have a lot of ventures, and being in the wrestling business is harder than I think a lot of people give it credit for. Like,
Right.
you realize only one promotion has survived the entire time, right?
Right.
Because I would say
One.
two, but then okay, so even in the heyday, there was two out of all the. Okay, so you had all the territories, and then there were two, but then that left one. Now,
Right.
new things spawned out of the one dying, but still, like I don't think you get Ring of Honor if WCW doesn't go away, but maybe you do because Ring of Honor is kind of birthed out of ECW lineage.
Right.
Like the people who started Ring of Honor were proteges of Paul Heyman, right? And the regionality and all that stuff. Impact is pretty much WCW's fallout, right? Because Jeff Jarrett is out of a job. He couldn't come to WWF at the time. He got a bunch of guys who couldn't come and made it crack. Or that they didn't have interest in, right? So,
Right.
do you realize they had AJ Styles' contract? Because he was a member of WCW when it folded. Like he was kind of a guy who was just starting. WWE had his contract. He had a few tryouts, had a few matches on like Sunday Night Heat, stuff like that. But
Yeah. I remember
they were like,
Right.
we'll pass. Right now, to be fair,
Right.
he evolved into the AJ Styles we got now. Right.
Right. Right.
I would say this. They missed on not signing him 10 years ago. Like in 2009, AJ Styles was amazing. And it's not that he's not amazing now. Like, I don't want you to think now, I don't think AJ Styles is good now, but like the AJ Styles Kurt Angle matchups from like 2009 or early 2010 before like Impact screwed up everything and like let Hogan take over for a little while with Bischoff and those things. Yeah, man. Crazy. I think Vince Russo was a part of the creative. You know, like all the people who helped crash WCW showed up.
Right.
It's like, hey man, last time these dudes ran a company and went under. But
Now, this is my question though. Like, if AJ Styles, say AJ Styles what if they would have kept him on, right? Would he have been the AJ Styles he is now? Because I feel like personally,
no,
he would have been well if he would have stayed with WWE. Like, he wouldn't be who him not being in WWE at that time is what built him into who he is. And then, like, because I feel like if AJ would have stayed with WWE, he would have been tucked off into the mid card somewhere, and I don't think he would have ever made it out. Like, it just, I think it would have took a lot for them to bring him, you know, to the main event, to a main event level like he is now. But I feel like him not being there is what made him into who he is. And that's just my personal opinion, of course. But I just kind of see that, you know, it's like, because I mean, how WWE does people.
No,
so it's kind of like,
Yeah, no, okay. To be fair, early 2000s was still the land of the Giants, right? I don't think. How do I say this fairly? It's really not their mismanagement. It's just the idea of like, oh, they could have had him. But it's not their mismanagement because he still needed to develop some things, right? And develop into the star. Like he became a star at Impact. Now, if you want someone who would drop the ball, it's Impact. Because he should have been John Cena for them. Right? Samoa Joe should have never fell off at any point over there. Like those guys, they blew it with those guys because those guys could have carried that company to what they had the potential to be.
Right.
I don't see it now, but I don't watch the product now that much. Like I'm gonna start watching it again because they've worked themselves back into television relevancy, right? So I'll give them a shot, but they screwed the pooch on the product over and over again. And then when they had something hot, they kind of killed it. When they had guys, they begrudge homegrown stars for like WWF mid-carders. So, hey man, a dude who just got released from the WWF or whatever, hey, let's put him in a title match. You know what I mean?
Right.
Forget Robert Roode, forget James Storm, forget AJ Styles, forget Samoa Joe. You know what I mean? Let's push this guy. Let's give Kennedy a shot. You know what I mean? Let's make it pop for Kennedy. That's probably wasn't the best move.
It wasn't.
Let's give Hogan a lot of time.
Yeah, like, but I think where they forgot that it's a workplace. You know what I'm saying? And with saying that it's a workplace, you forget that there's morale involved. So when you do things like that, your original talent is not going to be feeling that. You know what I'm saying? Like the ones that's been here from like day one, you know, they like, what the fuck? You know, like where's my shot? Where's my time to shine? Because this dude comes from WWE, and y'all just throw him in the top. You know what I'm saying? You give him the title shot that I deserve. You give him the spot that was reserved for me. You know what I'm saying? And then they have to wait. So they're still tag teaming, and you know, and there's nothing wrong with what they were doing before, but it's like they weren't given the opportunities that they deserved, and it's a lot. You hear a lot of that in wrestling at times because people aren't given the opportunities that they deserve, and it's like y'all will overlook them to put somebody else in that place, and it's like, well, damn, like what am I doing here? So then they leave because they just feel like fuck it, you know, like why am I going to sit here and continue to allow you to continue to push me to the side? You want to keep me as a mid-card when I've been here from day one. I've been loyal to the company. I haven't went anywhere else. I haven't even looked into going anywhere else. I've been literally sitting here, you know what I'm saying, just waiting for my opportunity, and you keep telling me it's coming, but as soon as you bring in another dude from WWE, you know what I'm saying, or, you know, another wrestling promotion that you feel is bigger than me, then you throw him to the forefront, and I'm just left standing here in the same position.
Right.
Don't nobody want to keep dealing with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody wants to keep dealing with that. Nobody wants to keep going through that.
Yeah. So, I mean, here, to be fair, every entertainment field has made a ton of mistakes. Every record label had a chance to sign somebody that they didn't sign. You know what I mean? Like, there's
right.
always a thing, right? But
right.
Put that aside for right now. AEW Dynamite. So, one thing, this is the second week in a row, All Elite has beat NXT in the ratings, right? But I'm not really harping on that. One, ratings is archaic in the way we tabulate them. Second,
right. Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people bet on. So this is how I do it. I generally watch NXT on the tablet. I watch All Elite on television. If something is to make me switch them, I will switch them. so far in 2 weeks, nothing has made me switch. But I will also say that because I know I can come back to NXT at some point later in the week, that's what I choose to do. Right? So I'm going to watch NXT on Friday. I'll watch it, on Hulu. I will watch it on the WWE Network. I don't necessarily need to see it immediately unless something happens, right?
Right.
So that's where it lands. But Dynamite has 2 shows, actually 2, because they show the dark matches.
Yes. So I actually am subscribed to the AEW channel on YouTube. So whenever they send out, when they put out notifications for a new video, I get them. And I had got a notification maybe a few days before they were debuting dark, and I was like, "Oh shit! Like they're really gonna have a whole episode of their dark matches? Like, this is dope!" Like
AEW Dark, which, hey, you guys should preference what it is before you send that out, because I was a little skeptical about watching it right out the gate. I'm like, Twitter has scarred me, so I'm thinking this is like Twitter after dark. I'm like, look, if I see somebody tallywhacking, this shit's over.
Right, that's it.
This shit is over.
Like I am not doing this so that y'all can so y'all not going to do this so that I can end up seeing somebody naked. No, thank you. Like this is not.
Or just put my algorithm in some weird search results. No, not what I want to see. But yeah, they have a whole set of dark matches. They just started this week, and I think they're going to keep continuing to do that. I mean, just another way to think outside the box. Just another way, like they package it as a show. They got good commentary on it. And I'm going to tell you right now, you learn how much you miss Jim Ross on commentary watching AEW. Because he still gives you that JR energy. And I like it. So, he's working along with Tony Schiavone, which is different. Like, I forgot that Tony Schiavone was decent at this, right?
Right.
Because he never came to after the merger. Like, he worked in other places. But, Tony Schiavone was doing, like, local radio here in Atlanta.
Yeah, I know he didn't bother with, trying to do commentary or anything else with WWE. Like, he was just like, nah, I'm good. And went on about his business. So, I knew that he had other business ventures that he got into.
Yeah. And I think AEW probably allows him a certain level of freedom, right? So,
right.
I think he probably still does his Wednesday night radio show on 92.9 and stuff like that. So I'm assuming that he probably still, like they give him something, because WWE is kind of like, you got to commit to that. Like, you got to be like, yo, I'll be here, I'll be there, I'll do this.
Right. Not only that, but there's a lot of control.
Yeah. They don't want you doing certain things.
Yeah.
So you like,
you know what I'm saying,
doing things outside of the company, is going to be frowned upon, definitely.
Right. But it's funny when you say that, because those kind of conversations always spark up like, well, what about, like somebody like Morrow, and it's like, y'all gotta understand like who he is, like.
But that's why he does NXT. Well, that's why he does NXT, and also when he started, I'm sure his contract. See, this is the beauty about having yourself set up before you do something. Mm-hmm. So, one of the things that for those of you who don't know, I plan to be a big shot one day, right? I plan to be something, kind of a big deal. And one of the things that will help me is that I have leverage, because I won't need to try to make it per se to get paid, right?
Right.
So I can make a decision based on what I feel is right, right? So
Right.
Morrow is one of the preeminent voices in like fight sports, legitimately, MMA,
Right.
boxing, yada yada yada, right? And he's called
Right.
it on the biggest networks. He's called some of the biggest fights like in the world that's ever happened. This is a passion project. This is fun for him. This can be some
Right.
take it or leave it type shit. So when he came in to negotiate, he can negotiate, man. Look, all I got is this day. This is what I got.
Right.
I ain't gonna chase you around. I ain't gonna follow you around like a puppy. I got this day. This is where we're gonna get it done. And then everybody else had to kowtow and follow to it. If
Right.
that meant he had to be out by a certain time, he got to be out by a certain time. If he ain't coming to a certain time, he ain't coming to a certain time.
Right.
You saw other people, on the staff that didn't really get to live that. But, yeah.
I
Well,
mean, I've watched NXT episodes where he wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? Like, because of, his other obligations. Like, no, he got to go call this fight. He ain't got time for this. Like, like NXT will be all right without me this week because I got to call this fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got an event. Like I gotta be in Vegas or whatever.
Right.
Because I ain't got it. So, as much as I love NXT, I gotta go. I'll be back next week. It's like, but I understood that though. You know what I'm saying? Because look what we talked about here. Like, especially after watching his documentary, like, I realized, like, how big of a name he is in sports. In sports commentary. Like, you don't get no bigger than that. It's I was like, man, he a bigger name than I thought. I didn't know, like, it was, like, that deep, So, but it helped me to understand why he has the leverage that he does. Because you don't see nobody else like that.
Yeah, I mean, here's
what I'm
the thing.
saying?
It's a reason why Samoa Joe gets to be Samoa Joe and not some crappy name that they made up for. It's the reason why AJ Styles keeps his name and it's not AJ Killer or something stupid. You know what I mean?
Right.
AJ Smith, No, he's AJ Styles because that's what he's been. But he could negotiate that because he could walk away and be like, look, man, if y'all don't want to do this, I'll take it or leave it.
Right.
I'm making good money in Japan. You know what I mean? Oh, I get that. But back to AEW. Back to where we were. Private Party. And the Young Bucks opened up the show with a tag team tournament match. And Private Party actually gets the win. Right. And here's the thing. One, these guys are athletic and talented. Two, I like that the company, even though it's founded by a set of guys, they're not rushing to put themselves in the title hunt. Right?
Right. Exactly. I do love that.
Because right after the tournament, they can get into the title picture because they have the credibility, right?
Right.
But
it is true.
Instead of winning the tournament, they, even just this round, they gave somebody else a chance to shine. So now you probably had the Young Bucks as a favorite to win it all. And then after losing the Private Party, you're like, well, who is these Private Party dudes? And it make you dig in a little more.
I feel like, I think in my mind, I'm like, well, they know, just like he said, they know, like, later on they can just, but I feel like they're doing exactly what execs of a company should do for the wrestlers that they sign, you know what I'm saying, that's there. You know, it's like they're giving them a chance to put themselves out there. Because they could wrestle on Dynamite every week and people won't even know who the hell they are. You know, but by them beating somebody like by Private Party beating the Young Bucks, now everybody's like, well, who's Private Party? You know, and then now their name has some attention to it. You know, now people are really, you know, but I feel like, to me, that's what you're supposed to do when you have, you know, when you're in this position. I'm not saying they're obligated. I mean, but it's what is ethically expected. You know, it's like, all right, I would personally want the wrestling too. If I'm a wrestler, you know, if I'm a wrestler and I sign to a company and I know that the executives are wrestlers too, you know, I would want to be put over. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't saying that I'm going to tell them to do it. It's just, you know, I would think, you know, this is what you would want, you know, for the talent that you sign. Because if nobody knows who they are, what's the point?
Yeah. But, you know, a lot of people don't do that. Jericho introduced his faction. And he introduced him formally because we saw them last week, right? Mm-hmm. And they have a name. They are known as the Inner Circle. Decent T-shirts, but let's show they're the Inner Circle. I expect to see a lot of them. I expect them to wreak a lot of havoc. Just throughout the card. So they will be interested also. Darby Allin defeated Jimmy Havoc. Darby will get a title shot at Jericho next week.
That was a good match.
Yeah. So I would Riho, the AEW Women's Champion, and Dr. Britt Baker defeated EM Sakura and Bea Priestley. I think Dr. Britt had to be separated from one of the ladies after the match. But even somebody like Dr. Baker, right? Like they could have put the belt on her right away, but they didn't.
They could have, right?
Because I think she's like clearly the most famous person in the women's division, and she has a Wednesday Night War within her own house because she is working over there at AEW. Her fiance, that you know as Adam Cole, is working over at NXT.
Right.
So
that's the funniest thing ever.
Yeah. But
that is the funniest thing ever.
Okay. I'm not one to say stuff like this, but I'll say this here. Have you seen pictures of them together?
I have seen pictures of them together. Actually, I think I'm following both of them on Instagram.
That's why I usually see them. I see them on Instagram. They are a very nice couple.
They are a wonderful looking couple.
They are this is pictures like if I looked at him and I looked at her, I'm like, yeah, that works. That's what a couple should look like.
Yeah, they complement each other very well. Like they look amazing together.
Hmm.
So I definitely compliment them. You know, it's funny to me. Like, I couldn't imagine. Like, I go to a dentist and I'm like, you know, I meet my dentist and I'm like, hey, you know, she does the work on my mouth or whatever. And then I turn on wrestling like a couple of days later, and here she go body slamming somebody. Like, wait a minute, like,
yeah. You know what? I would be self-conscious. Like I wouldn't want to go into the office and it's like Dr. Britt come in. I'm like, you know who you are?
Right. Like,
But I mean,
I'll be like, oh my god, like.
But and then I'd have to plug the podcast and see if she would willing to be a guest. You know what I mean? Like, because I can't just let that slide.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, this is something worth talking about, right? Also,
right. Meanwhile, I'm coming in here to get to get a cabby field.
see, that's the thing too. So I'm gonna give a little insight and get a little personal. For those of you who don't know, my grill needs some work, right? And I have spent a lot of money at the dentist in the last year or so, really like retooling this grill. I had to stop because insurance ran out and all that stuff, but I've really been working on this grill, right? And I got a little bit ways to go. My grill ain't in the shape that I would be comfortable with Dr. Britt looking at my mouth. You know what I mean? Like, I would be like, she'd be like, damn, you got this, you got that going on. Oh, boy, you got a lot of work that need to be done. You need to this. I'm about to pull this.
Right, nah, we good.
I need her to come in at the stage, like you said, I got like a single problem. Like, oh, man, I need to, you know, this feeling ain't working, or this, I need a new cap or something. You know, like that kind of thing. Cool.
Right.
But no, man, I want her to look like, ew. Because then, once again, I still got to talk about the podcast.
Right, of course. Like, I just can't imagine, like, she goes to wrestle on Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
And then, like, she goes to work on, like, Friday. She goes she goes to be a dentist, and then she comes in, like, I just find it hilarious to me. It's just funny. Like, I'm like, seriously? But it's dope, though. Like, to me, I feel like it's just absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
You know, that she's a real-life dentist out here. And she's wrestling. Like, I don't think... But you know what's funny to me is thinking about the obligations that she would have if she was wrestling in NXT with Adam Cole. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like she probably has a better contract schedule and everything, being where she is with AEW. And it helps me to understand, you know, how they, you know, work this. Because I personally, I love that they're, you know, a couple. You know what I'm saying? Because they're just so cute. But it also helps me to understand, like, you know, why they are where they are. You know, I don't think that, personally, I don't think it's a talent problem, because I think Britt is a fucking incredible wrestler. You know, I just know that, you know, she's where she feels she fits and vice versa.
Right.
It's dope, though, that that AEW doesn't take the, you know, they're not in the forefront, like the executives and everything. You know, they don't throw themselves into the forefront of everything. Because we both know, you know, Cody could be champion, you know what I'm saying? Like, the Young Bucks could easily be the tag team champions. Britt could have been a women's champion. Like, we all know these things. But that's not the case, and I actually respect them more as a company because of that.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to be tuning in every week. I know that.
Yeah. We'll finish up the show. Jon Moxley defeats Shawn Spears. Spears was accompanied, of course, by Tully Blanchard, who's advising him. Also, Shawn Spears, very yoked up since leaving the place where you would think people get yoked up. After the match, Kenny Omega comes down, and him and Jon Moxley have a little face-off. But then Pac, who was on commentary for some explicable reason, attacked Omega after the match, and Moxley did not finish Omega off. He left him laying there. But next week, I think it's a tag team with Pac and Moxley against Omega and who was? I think it might be Shawn Spears. I don't think it's Shawn Spears. I think it's Hangman. I can tell you right now because I got my All Elite site is up.
Well, speaking of Shawn Spears, his theme music is awesome. I know this is my first time bringing it up, but I love his theme music. His theme music is absolutely amazing. Like I was watching Dynamite, and I was like, man, like his theme music is dope. Like, I mean, I have to commend whoever does the music for AEW. They do an amazing job. Like, oh my god, their music is absolutely amazing. They need to put that on the soundtrack. I need to listen to my car. That's just like.
After that, Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara defeat the team of Dustin, Rhodes, and Hangman Page. After the match, those guys went on the attack. They had some help. There was chaos with the Inner Circle beating up on people. Far as I knew, Store had banded together and quelled that situation. But it took a lot. It took a lot of Cody Rhodes. It took a lot of other people who was coming down. It took a lot, you know. But all in all, it still was a good show. I like the mayhem after the match. I like MJF coming down and not know who he's going with. Even though MJF side with the baby faces might not be the best thing.
Right.
I think MJF was on his way to being a very, very good heel.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know where we are with that. But, yeah, that's it. We'll hit the break. We'll come back. We'll do the news. We'll do WWE NXT. And we'll do SmackDown. And we will let you guys go. So we'll be back in a second. Peace.
I guess that brings us to Mr. Jericho. You have the floor for 45 seconds.
It's obvious that I'm surrounded by neophytes in this ring, surrounded by neophytes in this entire arena. But all of you need to quiet down because the true best in the world at everything I do is about to enunciate. You want facts? Here's a fact. There isn't a human being who's been in more Elimination Chamber matches on this planet than me. There isn't a human being that's eliminated more superstars in the chamber than me. The last time I was in a chamber match, I walked out the world heavyweight champion. I mean, seriously, let's be honest here. My list of accomplishments in my career outweighs the list of accomplishments of you 5 wannabes incorporated completely. I am here. All 5 of you are here. And that brings me to you, Punk. Look at me when I'm talking to you, boy. All right, Punk, you might as well give me that world title right now because your master has come to reclaim what is his. Do you understand what I am saying to you right now?
All right, everybody, we are back. Let's see. let's make this with some news. Crown Jewel will be back October 31st, Keish. Halloween. We are going to Saudi Arabia again.
Uh-huh.
And that bothers nobody. But that's fine. I've learned of recent events that some people just don't feel comfortable speaking on such geopolitical topics, right?
Right.
But this, when you involved and people you love involved, makes it a little deeper, right? But yeah, matches booked so far. Brock Lesnar will face Cain Velasquez. Cain rumored to sign a multi-year deal with the WWE. I guess he opened it up on Broadway, basically.
Is that what he's doing?
Yeah. So, Cain versus Brock. Braun Strowman versus Tyson Fury. I don't know how big the cachet is, but apparently this is how we sell the tickets over there this time. Like, we're bringing over big attractions. Now, do these people have time to learn the intricacies of pro wrestling? No. Is it going to matter? Probably not. Probably not.
Not even a little bit.
Nah. Yeah. So.
Not in the slightest. It's not.
So, there's that. AEW would range for the second week in a row. Let me make sure I am not missing anything else that happened this week. The WWF stuff. Oh, so a little bit of a spoiler. Have you seen Dark Bailey? I don't even know if it's Dark Bailey or if it's just heel turn. One, shouts out to the stylist who did the hairdo.
Right, because it looks great on her. I love it.
And like the hair color with a little darker.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you ask the one pressing question that a lot of people probably had on their mind. Does this mean Bailey date black dudes?
What? Ain't she married? I thought she was married.
I think she engaged. I think some indie wrestler she engaged too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm about to say, dang, they've been engaged for a long time.
I'm gonna tell you, if something mysteriously ever happens to Tyson Kidd, Natalya gonna be with a black dude.
Shut up.
I see it going. I follow her on the gram and I see some stuff she be posting and she always talk about her being thick. I'm like, you been around some brothers. Only black dudes be out here telling chicks they thick. They talk about how thick they are. That's a very unique cultural conversation. First thing we say, boy, you see how thick she is.
Mm-hmm. No, because I wouldn't say all, but yeah, most white girls don't even know what that means.
And if you find one that's genuinely thick, not
right.
Yeah, that's like a unicorn. I mean, it's. Whew. I'm telling you.
Get out of here.
You get a white woman with some rump, man. Negroes go crazy. They be like, whew, I am going to risk all of this. My family is going to hate me. They're going to be calling me Uncle Tom and sell out. This is somebody got to give Becky a chance. Anyway, okay. Okay. I mean, and I'm not saying the Bailey haircut is that haircut. I'm just saying with the black hair and stuff like that. But because I mean, it's not that haircut, right? Like you see that haircut where you be at the mall, like you like.
Yeah.
she's definitely texting the Tyrone.
Right.
Or
you know the difference.
Or like when you hear like her son coming around the corner, I'm like, that dude got some curly hair. That dude is brown skin with curly hair. Look, I'm gonna tell you, out here in Paulding County, it seemed like there was just some kind of like epidemic or something. Like it is just a bunch of like. You good to see. Like I always find it interesting when like the old white grandmother be with their black grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like those people are going to help save the world because they have it. They're going to start seeing things a little differently. Not all. Some go just see their grandchild is special, and the rest of us are still, you know, whatever
right,
negative thing you come up with.
Yeah, that's exactly how this gonna go.
But you know, I'm off base because how I got here was the video going around of a young fan who was distraught after watching Bayley turn heel on SmackDown. Like they showed this little boy crying after Bayley took the thing and started cutting down the little Bayley buddies, the little inflatable things.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm sure some car dealership was like, why did you have to destroy those? Could have just sent them here. We would have took care of it.
Right.
Because
no, it needed to happen. Like if she didn't do that, then it wouldn't have fit into the narrative. That had to happen. Like in my mind, it was no way. I wouldn't say it was no way around it because of course they could have just not did it, but it fit the narrative because those were a part of her signature. Like when you thought Bayley, you thought inflatable tube man. You know what I'm saying? Like they were her version of Pyro. Like if it wasn't when she comes out, like from the first day she was on the main roster, you know, and then even in days in NXT, she comes out, you know what I'm saying? She's in her colorful clothes and you see those inflatable tube men, you know what I'm saying? So she had to destroy them. She had to destroy them to tell the crowd, like, I'm done with that. We're finished with the hugs.
yeah, fair enough. And I would say for that little boy who cried, hey man, life get tougher.
Right. Right. You crying now? Woof.
Tough shit. You gotta grow up sometime, man. You gotta grow up sometime.
Right.
I don't know if
later
this
on, boy.
I don't know if this is gonna rock his world or not. You know what I mean? I don't know. Just like
no, I probably won't. But it's the beginning, goddamn. I can tell you that.
yeah. And you know, there's a lot of opportunists out there, so you know, it is what it is.
Right.
So NXT, Keish, what did you think?
I thought it was a good show. I am thoroughly surprised at the whole Leo Rush thing, but I mean, outside of that, you know, I thought it was still a good show. But that kind of threw me for a loop a little bit. I was like, we doing this? Like,
Yeah.
like I really honestly was just like, so we really doing this? Like, are y'all for real? Like, I just needed to understand, like, this was happening. Like, I said, oh, okay. But at the same time, you know, NXT to me just doesn't disappoint. You know what I'm saying? Not as a show. It's still an adjustment, you know, for it to be in 2 hours. It's still an adjustment. I still got to get used to it being 2 hours instead of 1. But I don't think that it hasn't watered down the quality of the show. You know, I just feel like now they just got to pack a lot more into the show because they have more of it. So, but all in all, I was impressed. You know, it was good. So,
Okay.
I don't know what else to say about it outside of that.
Well, let's go to NXT. So, Lio Rush, after becoming number one contender, beat Drew Gulak and has the new Cruiserweight title.
Mm-hmm.
Which will be defended on 205 on NXT now. 205 Live is dissolving. Rhea Ripley defeated Aaliyah. I didn't know much about Aaliyah, but when I saw her, I was very disappointed that her name was Aaliyah. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
You could have named that somebody else.
No, that's right, because you don't watch NXT that much. Aaliyah, to be... I don't think she's going to get anywhere past NXT. And this is why I say this. Because Aaliyah has been in NXT for more than a couple of years. And her character, the way that she had chosen to develop it, wasn't in a way that could be something special, I guess. You know how, everybody develop a persona that stands out? Right. Hers doesn't stand out like that. They partner her, I forgot who was her tag team partner lately. I want to say it's been Vanessa Bourne. I keep forgetting, but I think that's it. And they try to give her somewhat of like a rougher edge, but she still has that attachment to her character, and it's not something that I deem it to be that stands out. So I don't think she's a bad wrestler. I just think that she needs to go through more character development, because what she has developed really isn't that big of a, I think she needs to change her name. I think she needs to change her whole character in general. Right. I've always said that even when I was watching her on what's that show they had when they was doing the behind the scenes, Breaking Ground. When I was watching her on there, and she was putting her character together originally, I was like, no, that's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? And I said, so. Now, even now, to still see it as it is, it's nah, it's not working for her. She really has to figure out what she's going to do, because it's I think they keep her on in NXT, because she's not a bad wrestler. That's the crazy thing. It's she's incredible in the ring to me, but she just, if she doesn't have anything, I feel like that would stand out outside of that. Because, we all know with wrestlers, it's not just wrestling, you know what I'm saying? So she needs to work on that part, and then maybe she'll be able to, because I was watching her in the combine, and she has strength, agility, she's wonderful physically, but it's that part, it's nah, that's not it's not, she's not the person that you would attach to her character. Right. It's just not, it don't work. So, yeah, I fully understand what you're saying.
Yeah. So, there's that. The Forgotten Sons beat Breezango. Cameron Grimes defeated Boa. Roderick Strong defeated Isaiah Swerve Scott, but that was a pretty good match.
Mm-hmm.
And people were clamoring for the Swerve. Velveteen cut his promo after that and made Roddy feel bad about himself. Yeah.
I love Velveteen. I really do. He's amazing. That man is going places. Okay, I was just going with that man is going places. I love Velveteen.
Yeah, I think he's got a lot left, and I'm glad right now so far he's staying at NXT.
Right. True.
I just don't have the confidence that they would do the right thing with him.
They won't. I feel like if he were to go to the main roster right now, he would be buried. Like, they would not. They won't do the right thing with him. You know what I'm saying? I want him to go to the main roster when they're ready for him. You know what I'm saying? When they really have something for him. And they really...
Yeah.
Because Velveteen has he has everything that he needs to be a main event, you know, in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? And with him being so young, he has so many years to, like, build on it. So, yeah, I'm glad. I'm so happy they're keeping him in NXT right now. Like, that to me doesn't need to happen anytime soon. Plus, he gets finer. Like, his whole character, everything he does sharpens, like, as time goes on. You know, because, you know, when we were first introduced to him, he was awesome then, but, like, now, like, man, like, especially with all the girls and, you know, like, his promos, and I mean, he is incredible. Like, I was like, man, like, they did absolutely wonderful. This is to me when they made a great decision with, you know, signing him, and, you know, like, that character development right there. Now that, I was like, yeah, that worked. You know what I'm saying? Because at first, you know, people question it. Now, it's like, no, like, you can't even deny it. Like, he's just that good. You know, he's Velveteen Dream. Like, there's nothing else to really say about him. He's incredible. So, I'm a fan. I've always been a fan. I'm going to always be a fan. So when it comes to him, I ain't going to lie. I'm a little biased. But at least I can admit it.
Yeah. That is always quality. That is high on the list. Let's see. We got Roderick Strong beat Isaiah Swerve Scott. Before was 16. So, let's see. Trying to make sure I got all bases covered. But, yes. Bianca Belair defeated Dakota Kai, who was returning from injury. We'll see what she lands on the card. Walter defeated Keshia in a match of undefeateds. So, that was good. So, with the NXT guys spending a lot of time over from Europe, wouldn't it be interesting if Walter bumped into Brock and, you know?
Right. That would kind of go.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I want to see that. I don't know. I have to question it. That's something to be like, yeah, I don't want to see this. And I kind of do and I kind of don't. You know?
Right. So.
Because it's not like it wouldn't be anything that we haven't seen before.
Right. So, with that being said, that's pretty much it for NXT. But yeah, the Undisputed Era and the Imperium, if they ever like bumped into each other or had in the same place at the same time, how does that work?
Yeah, that does it, really. I can't think of any capacity to where they would bump each other, you know, where they'll be in the same place. Except for, like, a major pay-per-view, like WrestleMania or something, you know, when the NXT stars are there, like, they can't see that. You know, unless he's wrestling at a pay-per-view and Walter just happens to be backstage, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that'd be about it. That's the only...
Yeah, but it's still... Everybody have to be there, right? Like, his boys are there.
Right. So, I don't know. Like, that's a little hard to put together. It sounds like it would be a little difficult to put together.
Yeah. But neither here nor there. SmackDown. We had the draft. And we had some matches.
Yeah, we did.
So, the first match, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, they were supposed to determine the draft order. That match did not finish because Bray Wyatt attacked Seth Rollins again. And they awarded a disqualification to Seth Rollins. and he got the disqualification victory since he was attacked. And Raw got the first pick, and it's kind of like, whew, y'all out here disqualified a lot. But that's another story for another time.
Right.
But let's see where we are. First round, Keish. Raw takes Becky Lynch, which, I mean, she's a Raw Women's Champion, but she was the number one overall pick. The OC with AJ Styles will stay together, which is 3 people. And they kept Drew McIntyre. Right? Now, I'll say this. I like the way they did it, where they said, look, the TV execs at each network, since there's 2 different networks, want their own set of talent, which is legitimately true. Right?
Right.
Now, they set up the idea of a war room like it was the NFL Draft. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was dope. I love that concept.
Now,
I was like, yeah, this is cool.
The so-called execs aren't that good at acting, but that's fine. I won't hold that against them. Roman Reigns stays with SmackDown because SmackDown, and of course they were going to keep Roman Reigns because I thought he is,
right,
one of the big stars, right? Because for those of you who don't know, Raw gonna go to the B show.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just completely how it's being set up.
Remember, I used to be like, yo, you can hire somebody at SmackDown and then, they can learn and da-da-da. It's like, they on SmackDown, they on front and center.
Right.
But the thing is, they're going to be on front and center on Raw still, too, because Vince ain't going to let Raw. I mean, that's still his flagship. But right now brings in more money. So, it's a weird scenario.
Yeah, because, I mean, Raw is Raw. You know what I'm saying? Like, when people, when you say Raw to the wrestling fan, like, you're saying, end all and be all of wrestling shows. Like, so when you have to start really considering Raw to be the B show, it's like, I don't know if I can do that. It's like, I really can't wrap my mind around that. It's just, that's pretty much what it's getting set up to be. And I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel about it. It's like, I mean, but it makes sense in a financial business standpoint. It's like, all right, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
but if all you looking at is the wrestling, then that's not the case.
But so SmackDown will keep Roman Reigns, and they're picking up Bray Wyatt, which I think is very interesting. So I think it helps them in the sense that it takes Bray away from Seth, right?
Yeah.
So
true.
It walks us away from the fiasco that happened Sunday. Even though, here's the problem what they had with that. They had no intention on putting the belt on Bray Wyatt.
Right.
Unfortunately, Bray Wyatt, this is his first significant action with this character. He probably shouldn't lose, right?
Right.
But you don't want him to champ either. So they got stuck. And the booking that they used, well, it wasn't a disqualification, but it was a match stoppage. But it doesn't really have precedence in Hell in a Cell because Mick Foley damn near died and they didn't stop a match. Legitimately.
Right.
They didn't stop a match when Cain rips open a cell and knocks out Taker and Michaels wins.
Right.
It just don't work out, basically. But yeah, so it was that ending was funky at the pay-per-view, and this is one way they can get away from it. King Corbin defeated Shorty Gable, and yes, that is the new name for
Shorty Gable.
Chad Gable. He is Shorty Gable. I'm like, why? Like, okay, I get what Baron Corbin is doing it, but why the hell are fucking announcers doing this?
Right. All right, the name is terrible. Like, what are we doing? Shorty Gable? Like, what? Like, when I was like, this is not happening. Like, this is just not. Are you serious? Shorty Gable? What are we doing here? Like, it just doesn't even make sense. There's just no reason for this shit. It's just not. It's nothing. But, whatever. Like, people are going to make their own decisions with what they're going to do with these kind of things. And it's like, y'all, some of the stuff, y'all got to say no. Like, it's just, somebody has to really just stand up and be like, no. Like, we're just not doing that. Like, can we please get one person in the room to be like, that is a terrible idea. Like, just one.
Nah,
right,
you know what would happen? Somebody else will be like, I don't know what they talk about, boss. That was brilliant. So,
and then they start tap dancing on the table. Like, I would really need for somebody to just be like, no. Like, can we please, just one person just have some balls and just be like, no.
Now, round 2, actually, I think is the most interesting round of the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So, Raw gets Randy Orton. Like, they already had Ricochet and Bobby Lashley. They would just stay on Raw. Randy Orton, I think, will give Raw, that quick strikeability. You probably spend, time, take care of stuff like that. But I think that's a good get for them. SmackDown actually gets 2 new talents because they get Braun Strowman and Sasha Banks, which definitely let me know this is the premiere show. This is the show where all the action gonna be at, because this is one of your top 3, maybe 5 women's talents. And then Braun, Mr. Get These Hands, I think he has a certain level of appeal and attraction to the mainstream audience. Even though I do caution that, hey, one day somebody gonna come around and get them hands for real. And it ain't gonna be pretty.
It ain't.
Those are big hands. Big ass hands. Like, this is like shit. He already can block out the sun, kind of, right?
Right.
Like, if Braun stayed behind me on a sunny day, I'd be like, damn, it's getting cold out here.
Right. Okay. Be like, look, just stand right there. All right, cool. just stay right there. Right.
The stuff we did put people through.
Terrible. Ooh, excuse me.
Yeah. But, Brock Lesnar and Paul come out and sell their thing, but then they're interrupted by Cain Velasquez and Rey Mysterio. Cain shows the video of him beating up Brock in the UFC. The New Day defeated the OC in a 6-man tag match. All 3 members of each group was in the building. And Kofi Kingston got the pinfall victory over AJ Styles for his team. And I thought it was significant because I think that door there might be a window to some kindness or something. I don't know.
Not that. But I thought it was good.
Yeah.
They had a great match. The match was actually awesome.
But actually, Kofi needed it, right?
Yeah.
So Kofi needed to be in a situation where he would win and he would he looked good despite what happened, and maybe he got his head clear. Draft results for that time period. Raw kept Alexa Bliss because they already had her. Natalya, they already had her. Kevin Owens, I think, is huge. That is a big piece of star power. So, But yeah. SmackDown gets Lacey Evans, which explains her losing the feud to Natalya.
Right.
The Revival, of course, they gonna stay because they're the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. They weren't gonna leave.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make sense.
So, Yeah. That leads us to the fourth and final round, and I'm gonna get to that before we get to the main event.
Of course.
And the draft will pick up on Monday. Then there'll be a lot of stuff that just happens off TV because everybody doesn't remember every single person that played. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, there's the thing. But, fourth round. Raw keeps the Viking Raiders. They keep Nikki Cross so her and Alexa Bliss don't split up. And they pick up the Street Profits, which I think we've seen them mostly on Raw doing the vignettes and stuff like that anyway. Not really vignettes for themselves. I think most of it just been them playing a role, doing commentary. I think this is good. We hadn't had a real legitimate call up in a while. So, that's about it.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Raw will keep Viking Raiders, Nikki Cross, Street Profits. SmackDown gives Lucha House Party, which, oh God, I wish they still went the thing. And Heavy Machinery. Heavy Machinery will spend their time on SmackDown. I like Heavy Machinery.
I do.
They're goofy. And I wonder if somebody gonna advise them, say, hey man, you should try it. You know. I don't know. Anyway, the main event. Bayley versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's title. It is a rematch from Sunday's impromptu match that I cannot explain why it happened. Even though I tried to do the pay-per-view preview, I was like, let me check the night before the store, let me check the morning other store. Why ain't no cars out here? You know what I mean?
Right.
But then I went, it was open, and I don't know. But Bayley, who we, as I mentioned earlier, went dark, defeated Charlotte. A little bit of shenanigans here and there, but not too much. I mean, she beat him.
Right.
Oh, man. Gotta feel good. But Bayley is a new SmackDown Women's Champion, and she said she hated everybody.
Right.
So.
And I quote, screw all of y'all. And walked out the ring. Oh, did you notice that they played her new theme music in the back? Like when she won, like they played her new theme music in the back. They didn't play her original stuff. Like they had a whole new theme song playing for her after the fact. I was like, so are y'all serious? Because normally that's not what happens. You know, somebody turns heel, they still play their music because they haven't changed it yet. And whoever was in the back had played her new theme music when she won the title. And it was like, y'all were ready for this? Like, yeah. Like, this is, I mean, granted, of course, you know, we know that they was already going to be ready for it. But I didn't think that they were going to actually play that after the fact. Because even when she got in the ring, she said, screw all of y'all. She drops the mic. They play that music. And I was like, that I had to I went and found it, like some highlights on like YouTube. And I had to rewind a couple of times just to make sure I wasn't hearing things. Yeah, they already played her new theme song. And I was just kind of like, first of all, I like it. Let's just go ahead and get that out the way. And I'm glad that this is going full circle now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm so glad this whole heel turn is going full circle now. You know, because I already was liking the direction they were deciding to take it in the first place. But now that she's just like completely like, oh yeah, F all y'all, I'm like, yeah, let's go. Let's do this. Because that was the interesting part. She said, screw all of you, and the crowd just goes crazy, you know? Everybody's like, yeah! And it's like, what?
Yeah.
You know, like, but then again, this is what people have been waiting for, you know? Like, that's the weirdest stuff ever. It's like everybody's been waiting on this moment. You know what I'm saying? For Bayley to just be like, F all y'all. And everybody's just like, yeah. It's like, what? I guess because if you're the casual wrestling fan, you really wouldn't think that. You'd be like, ain't they supposed to be booing or something? Like, that's not how this works these days. It's just not. So, but I picked apart that moment, you know what I'm saying, just a little bit, because I was just kind of like, I had to rewind it a few times just to make sure this is what I was seeing. But I'm excited. Like, I'm one of those people that would have been yelling yay in the crowd, because I'm excited. I'm like, yes, come on, Bayley. Like, when she start cutting down the inflatable tube, man, I was like, oh yeah, she going full circle now. She's just like, and you know what's funny?
What's up?
I was on Facebook today, and I seen a meme. There was a meme out. No, I was on Twitter. There's a meme out on Twitter already of her, and then she's holding up her title, and in front of it says "fuck these kids." Like, what? I said, who did this? Like, the internet is completely under it, okay? Like, just all the way.
Yeah.
I said, people are retarded. Like,
for better or for worse, right? For better or for worse.
But I seen it coming. It's like, yeah, she's done with the hugs and all that. Yeah, we're finished. This is a wrap. So, but I had to throw that out there. So.
All right, but yeah, Bayley's your new SmackDown Women's Champion, and I don't think she's leaving SmackDown anytime soon because of that.
Right. True.
I was trying to see how did we get to Shorty Gable, and it really don't indict anybody. Yeah, I thought it was Vince. I'll be honest with you. I didn't know. I was trying to see who's responsible, because this is some bullshit. I'm calling that man Shorty. I think that's disrespectful.
I ain't supposed to be laughing this hard.
Just saying, man. I think it's disrespectful.
This is the bullshit. This is disrespectful.
So, Keisha, we got you on the show now. What did you think of Hell in a Cell?
I thought it was trash. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, let me calm down.
Well, here's the thing.
I thought it was trash.
I felt like one match ruined it. You know what I mean? Like, you left you with a bad main event, and it just ruined the whole. Because if Sasha and Becky Lynch were the main event, like that match,
right,
we would have no problem. Because that was the match of the night out the gate. It was the best match that they had.
Right, it was. Like, the rest of the matches, even before we even got to the main event, I feel like the rest of the matches didn't really do much for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were all right. Like, it wasn't, I don't think there was anything spectacular about Hell in a Cell except for Sasha and Becky. Like, that was it. Like, everything else, it was just kind of like, are y'all serious? Like, it was just, I wouldn't say it was, like, terrible until, like, the end. The ending was just terrible. Like, that just completely just threw off all of it. And then I don't think that they really understand, like, the way you end the pay-per-view matters. You know what I'm saying? Like, because people will throw the whole pay-per-view away if you end it badly. Like, you can't just end it however you want. Like, this is not how it works. You know what I'm saying? Like, when Seth cashed in his Money in the Bank contract at WrestleMania and won the title, right?
Right.
That was an incredible ending, you know what I'm saying, to a pay-per-view. You know, like, you know, if you're not ending pay-per-views, even on an okay caliber, you know, it's going to completely trash the rest of the pay-per-view. The rest of the pay-per-view could have been incredible. But if you have a terrible ending, that's all people are going to remember. That's all they're going to talk about. So it's like the rest of the pay-per-view itself, but this time around, I wouldn't say like the rest of the pay-per-view was just A1, because it wasn't. But, you know, then you ended it like with that crappy end. The ending actually could have saved the rest of it if they would have ended it right. If they would have ended this pay-per-view correctly, it probably would have given the rest of it, you know, a better look. But it didn't. Like, y'all gave an okay show, and then you ended it terribly.
Oh, yeah.
What are you thinking? You know what I'm saying? Like, the best match you had was for the Raw Women's Championship. Period. And then it was just kind of like everything after that, it just kind of seemed like it was just thrown together. And I really didn't like it. I mean, granted, I have the network, thank God. So I don't have to pay out of pocket for the pay-per-view per se, you know, but if I did, I wasn't mad. Like, I would have really been pissed.
Right.
Like, this is what I spent my money on, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would have really been upset. So, that's pretty much my whole thought of it, like, as a whole. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just, it wasn't, if I had to give it a grade, I'd give it like a D. Because it just wasn't, okay, so I'll give it more like a C. Because like I said, it wasn't like terrible, but it wasn't good either. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just really was somewhere in between. It was okay. Like, it's not something that I would necessarily want to go back and watch. That as a whole. Like, I would want to watch it in, like, increments just to get what I want out of it, and then that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So, because there's only one full match that I would watch again, and that's it. Like, everything else is just kind of like, I kind of skip through it, get through some stuff, you know. So, yeah. That's my whole thing on Hell in a Cell. Like, I didn't really, you know, I wasn't really too enthused about talking about it, because it's just that the card itself, I think Hell in a Cell just doesn't need to be a pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know we and you have always talked about this. We had several conversations about this. It just doesn't need to be a pay-per-view because, like, the matches you put together, like, you're going to have, like, at least 2 Hell in a Cell matches, and then the rest is just going to be, like, regular wrestling matches. And it just doesn't make sense to even have all of that, you know?
Mm.
When you can throw those Hell in a Cell matches on, like, other pay-per-views and just make it, you know, like the bigger pay-per-views, and just make it like that, but you've made a whole event out of it, and it was just terrible. Like, this wasn't worth it. You know, it's like, what was the point? So, yeah.
Also, Jon Moxley is being called out for not defending the IWGP United States Championship. Juice Robinson called it about. Basically said he probably like a Brock Lesnar.
Mm.
Take that home.
Right. Oh, shit now. This ain't get some started. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You gotta love wrestling, man.
He's
I brought this up as my interest. So, we had our monthly meeting at work. This is really random. But we had our monthly meeting at work. And the new security director was there. And he had everybody introduce themselves. And he had us give out, like, all these different attributes about ourselves and whatever, right? So one of them was an interesting fact about yourself, right? So I stood up, I told my name and all that stuff, and that was like my interesting fact. I was like, I love wrestling. And I said, I've been a fan since I was 10, and I was like, me and my brother, we do a podcast together called Ring Time Pro Wrestling. I plugged the podcast at work because this is about the only chance that I was going to get, you know, to actually do this. So I'm standing in front of my team, and my manager, one of my managers, another manager, both of my supervisors, and the aviation security director, and I'm talking about wrestling and ring time pro wrestling. I thought that was the dopest woman ever. So I had to put that out there, you know. And it's funny because the security director, very familiar with wrestling. He's more so old school because he started talking about Andre the Giant and Trunk Yard Dog. And so I was like, yeah. I said, that's a little bit more so before me. I said, I'm more so Attitude Era, you know, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, you know, that's kind of more so my speed. But it's not like I'm not familiar. So
Right.
I was sitting up there talking about that for a second, and then I sat down. Like, everybody's like, oh my God, you do a podcast. I was like, yeah. I don't tell y'all stuff because y'all already know it. Like, y'all already know it. But, you know, I was so excited. I was like, I'm like, wrestling up here. You know, I had to throw that out there. I had to. Like, this is what I use as my most interesting fact. I said, yeah, me and my brother, we do a podcast together. You know, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, what, are you a podcaster? I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. I was thoroughly excited in there. So everybody all sitting there looking at me all shocked. I was like, what? What are y'all? Why y'all looking at me like this? I said, one of our supervisors had it in an Olympic trial. Like, y'all looking at me like, oh. So, just doing that. But I gave us a big shout out. You know, I went on ahead and put that out there. Mind you, this is work. I was at work. You know, I was getting paid for this. This is just, you know, I'm like, when do I ever have the opportunity to plug the podcast while I'm at work? You know, because I sure be talking about it every chance I get. Listen, I want people to know, not too much though, because you know, there's those moments where sometimes,
Right.
you know, yeah. So I don't plug it too much. You know, there's certain people I don't not want to listen to this. But
Yeah, but say don't want you to lose that good government job.
no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. So.
All right, with that, we are going to shut it down, and we will be back on Wednesday and then on Saturday again. Ring Time for Wrestling. We out. Peace.